What's up, everybody? Jensen Cummings here. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Today is Best Served Podcast 406. We're talking James Beard nomination and restaurant industry award criteria with Penelope Wong of Yuan Wonton, who we'll invite in just a moment. This is 7 of 7 of this restaurant week kind of mini series. So we got to hear about branding, we got to hear about HR, hear about the impact of the Hispanic community and workers, how to elevate the line cook, and so much more. Really, really great week. I'm super honored for all the guests, and what a great way to end this week. You know, I've been talking about this a lot, that I want to see us shift our expectations when it comes to what excellence means in our industry across every channel available to us. And awards are an interesting one. I also have been joking about I want to see the www Workplaces Worth Working icon on Yelp to let people know that they should be spending their money at places that invest in their people. Yelp. I'm gonna keep on, you guys. All right, that's my rant. Let's get Penelope in here. Penelope, good to see you.
Hi, Jensen. How are you?
I am doing great. It's amazing to have you on again. We were just joking before we went live that it's been over 2 years since the last time we had you on. So much has happened, from food truck to brick and mortar to now James Beard nomination. First thing, a huge congratulations to you. I'm sure that it was a shock, and you're like, it's about fucking time that they recognize game.
Absolutely not. Shock for sure. I literally was like, what the hell? Because my phone was blowing up. And I'm like, what is happening right now? And looking at the taglines on the text, I was like, oh shit, she had her baby. You know, I'm like, I have no idea what this is about. And I opened it up and I was like, wait, what?
Hold on. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, I was like, someone's seriously losing their job over this mistake.
Yeah. No, I loved hearing it, and it made sense to me. I mean, I think what you've done from putting Chinese cuisine on the map in the way that you have, like your unique approach, I think it makes a lot of sense to me. You've been really vocal on social media, so you have that presence out there, just being raw and real. It's the dynamic that I think we're looking for now. Is like, it doesn't need to be this shiny white tablecloth with old white dudes that means excellent in our industry. So I absolutely love seeing that. I also know the emotional roller coaster that now ensues for you. Now there's a level of expectation, and now all of a sudden, like, do we change who we are because we're at this level? How do we stay true to Yuan Wonton? So talk to us about that first, because a lot of people I know have gone through that, where they get the accolades, myself included, and we kind of don't know how to handle it. So how are you handling it?
You know, the most important thing to me is just, I mean, I am who I am, right? I mean, you talk about this voice that I have on social media, and it's very raw, it's unfiltered, it's abrasive, frequently. But I mean, it's just, you know, I am who I am what I am. We run our business the way we run our business. Never in a million years. This has never been in my wheelhouse. Never something I've strived for, because I just never thought I was at that level. And I was fine with it, you know. And so now, just the emotional roller coaster over these last couple of weeks have been like, holy shit, do you know what this means? But at the same time, it's like, but what does it mean? Because this isn't something I entered. It's not a contest I entered. It's not something I signed up for. So, you know, what's the change? What, you know, do I need to change anything?
No, the answer is no.
I'm not going to. I don't plan on it.
You might have to roll a few thousand more dumplings.
Yeah, other than that, work harder. But, you know, at the very heart of it, no, I don't feel like there's anything I need to change about how we run things. I mean, right. I'm not going to lie. I did tell Rob that he has to be really, really nice to every single customer that comes through the window, because I'm like, I have no idea who nominated us. So it literally could be anyone that's coming. So I need you to be nice to them.
Rob is such a nice guy. Come on. You can count on Rob to be good. You're the one with the raw, real, emotional. You drop the hammer. So appreciate
I have to remind myself during service, like, don't yell at Rob in front of people.
Right. That relationship is for after business hours. Right. that dynamic comes into play. I appreciate that. And for everybody, as always, real quick, bestservepodcast.com. Check out 6 Questions with Penelope Wong. There's some good stuff. First restaurant job, which we talked about on the show last time, in North Denver, your parents' restaurant when you were 12 years old, right? Like, very classic kind of that immigrant story of the family and the restaurant being generational. So you talk about that. I love it. And I think with that, from such an impressionable young age, you hold the mantle for what it means to kind of represent for Chinese cuisine, which has not gotten the accolades. Fuck, the opposite, right? It has been stigmatized. It has been said that it's less than. There's been so much propaganda in the history of our country against Chinese immigrants, Chinese food, especially. And so now you're trying to elevate it, but also not try and be, I don't know, bougie. That's probably the wrong word, but like, you're trying to make it real, authentic to you and your experience. So how do you think that that's coming through? Do you see that being a way that now people, besides, again, some haute cuisine, French, Italian, something or another, can get on that awards level? How are you representing Chinese cuisine? That was a long, convoluted question. There you go.
How am I representing Chinese cuisine? It's really just all about what shaped my palate, I guess, for lack of better explanation. The things that I enjoyed growing up eating, I think about at the end of the night, working the restaurant, 10 o'clock at night is when our family would sit down and have dinner. And it was like, that was, to me, getting through service and whatnot, that was like, the big thing to look forward to at the end of the night. And it's like, what are we going to have for dinner tonight? And just that sheer joy, after just getting your ass kicked during a service, was just that. It was, like I said, it was just something to look forward to. And when I think about, like, sharing Chinese cuisine and whatnot, like, it's just good food. There's probably quite a few, you talked about these classically trained chefs out there who are kind of looking at maybe the most recent nominations and just kind of like, what the fuck is happening right now? But it's like, in my mind, I see, there's a major shift in the landscape of dining in America. And that, to me, is like, I'm so fucking proud. I mean, like I said, I never ever would have expected this in my lifetime, in my career, to be recognized by an organization like JBF. But I will say that I am damn proud to represent that shift in the landscape.
It's desperately needed and long overdue. And I think the value, maybe the actual value and the perceived value that we've had in this country for high-end cuisine, even in our own careers, of what we thought was this elite top level cuisine. And I talk about dumplings a lot. This is right in your wheelhouse, and wontons. And when you look at an Italian restaurant now, somebody will pay $25 for a plate of ravioli, tortellini, something like that. But they want to pay $3 and a nickel for a giant bowl of dumplings.
Yeah.
And that right there, that's a problem. Like, we have a misconception of what the value and work that goes into food. So we're shifting that value proposition pretty significantly. And again, to your point, the fact that you're up for an award means that at large, we're shifting that expectation. How do you take somebody out there, guaranteed somebody's watching, listening, that's wants to elevate their family's Filipino lumpia recipe or something, take that to a level? How do they do that when they've been told so often, maybe even within their own culture, that it's just food, it's not supposed to be this high-end thing? How do they take that step like you have?
It's really just all about sharing it, and to me, there's a story behind it. I mean, it's when I talk about this shift in the landscape of dining, it's this shift is now focusing on not so much America's dining culture, but the culture behind the cuisine. Everyone wants to know the story. The story is so important. We talk about just dishes that we grew up with that are so, I mean, they're, you're talking about boiled rice and water for some. I mean, but the story behind the dish and why it's so important to a particular culture people are interested in that. They want to learn. They want to grow. And it's our job to get that word out there, to help educate. But that's the only bit of advice I can give, is just to keep sharing. If it's that important to you, don't stop doing it. It doesn't matter who's telling you what. It's what you want to share. It's what's important to you. And it's just what you want to get out there. It's what you want to see out there.
Yeah, I think that story, if you're just selling the dumplings or just selling that pasta or just selling that burger, you're commoditized, right? Yep. You have to have something bigger with more meaning and deeper that people are emotionally connected to. Mm-hmm. And so I could not agree with that more. Also, talk about being known for one thing or you'll be known for nothing. I think that might have been the title of your first episode, because it was so important to you and something I've talked about ever since, that we tried to do too much and be everything for everybody, and really being the best in class at whatever you do, I think, is important. It's also important to recognize, I remember, you got to remind me, there's a dish that you didn't think you should put on the menu for Yuan because it was just some cooks eating it cold, standing up over a trash can at the end of service type of dish. It turned out, or maybe it was Rob who said, this is fucking amazing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm pretty sure it was, I mean, there's so many things that Rob's like, there's no fucking way we're going to sell this off the truck, but I mean, the first dish I think about is like the first time when I made congee, he's like, you're literally boiling rice and water. I'm like, I know, but it's amazing.
Yeah. I think you're probably right. I think it was congee. And so with that, just the belief that something that you enjoy and brings you joy, as you mentioned, is worthwhile and of value, I think is one of the big paradigm shifts that I really, really love to see. So I want to take just a couple minutes. The criteria. Do you have any idea what the criteria is for you to have been nominated and or to win this award? I get asked this a lot. The first thing I say is, don't worry about the criteria. You do you. And I do think it's good for people to understand what the metrics of the game that they're playing is. Do you have any idea? Can you impart any wisdom?
I mean, I do now.
Okay, yeah, well, tell us. I have no idea.
Yeah, obviously setting high standards in both culinary and leadership, creating a sustainable working environment and producing something greater for the broader community, and the funny thing is, like I said, when I first found out the news, first thing in my head was like, how in the fuck did this happen? And then the more and more I read about, the criteria and how you qualify, I'm like, oh, well, okay.
That's like, it makes sense.
I mean, it's such an honor. I tell you what, like I said, to be recognized by, an organization like this for those things that we do anyway, because I mean, that's what's important to us, to me as a chef, to running a business. I mean, we're doing it anyway. And for someone to take notice is huge, because we deal with a lot of angry people at services who don't want to wait in line, who are pissed because they can't figure out the pre-order system, we had some guy tell us a couple, it was last week actually, he literally said, take your fucking food and shove it up your fucking ass.
Come on.
And I was like, oh my God. Okay.
What are you doing here, people?
Well, we deal with a lot of angry people, but it's like, when we talk about what's important to us as standards in our business model and to be recognized by it, I mean, it's a fucking amazing feeling.
So cool. How are you taking this acknowledgement and funneling it towards your team? I know that's so important to you, and we struggle sometimes. Sometimes we put the chef too high on a pedestal and not everybody else. I know that's something you talk about. I talk about a lot. I've been guilty of it. How's that going? Are they feeling really fucking proud right now?
They are. And good. Oh my God, I got to tell you, I love seeing just the amount of pride on Knox's face, on my sous chef.
She's been there through all of it.
Exactly. She's been there with me through every step of the way. And like, she was the first person I texted. Well, actually, she texted me because I was like kind of looking at my phone like dumbfounded. And she was like, is this real? I said, I don't know. But, when we both met up at the commissary that day just to start prepping, we just ran to each other and I just hugged her. And I'm like, oh my God. And we both simultaneously said, congratulations.
Best hug ever.
Yeah. So it was, you know, it's awesome to see just, I mean, her taking all of this in. And I mean, of course, Rob is just over the moon proud, and it's awesome to share it with them for sure. And you know, the first thing I said was like, I don't even know who to thank for this because, like I said, I'm not sure how this happened. But
everybody, thank everybody.
The only people that I can thank right now is my team.
Yeah,
you know, for dealing with all my shit to let me do this. You know, to share what's important to me. So
that's it.
Yeah, it's all about the team.
All right, you get past semifinalists. You go final. I think it's probably in Chicago again. Is it every year? In Chicago, wherever it is. Who are you taking to the award ceremony?
It's our team. It's our little tiny team of 3.
That's done. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all you need. That's the band right there. I absolutely love this. I can't wait to see kind of how this journey goes. And it's one of those things like you should win. And it's kind of like, who gives a fuck who wins? Because now you know that people know where you're at, where you're coming from, and what you're all about. And that's what really matters. So love that we got to talk about this. Penelope, thanks so much.
Thanks for you know, bugging me enough and
yes, I'm on it. I knew we had to have this conversation no matter how busy you are.
Yeah, thank you.
Right,
it was awesome talking to you.
Cheers. All right, everyone. That is it for this episode. Once again, this was Best Served Podcast 406, talking to Penelope Wong, of Yuan Wonton about James Beard nomination. And as always, again, go to bestservedpodcast.com. Check out 6 Questions with Penelope Wong. Really good stuff in there. The first job we mentioned. We always like to get in people's pantries and see what they got at home in their cupboards, as well as some really good insights, advice on what it means to get nominated for awards like this, how to put yourself at that level, how to not let it go to your head, all of those things that I think are incredibly important.